Hi guys, Justin here, Welcome Farm 26. I like to know what I've got in there. So we did have a little bit of trouble there. I don't know if you can see that square of that, yeah, light's not real good here. But I had a dent right there, and I couldn't get that past, and now you got free movement. And I didn't video it just because it ended up being a lot of running, but I got my little inner pack here, and I just put him in, had a shimmer, and I don't know if you know how these things work or not, but basically you got your pump there, and just pump the handle, and you watch the ram just, it grows. But yeah, we pushed her out with that, and we can get by now. So I'm gonna go back to time lapse, and well, I'll show you what we do first. But in this hole here, you can see that shaft down in there. There is this, I'm gonna try and come in this way. There is this yoke that I gotta line up and then push the tongue. So this hole and this hole line. But as you can see, I got no space for my hands, let alone you guys watching. So that's what I'll be doing. So I don't know how much that you saw or not, but this slip clutch right here, it did get on the shaft. And all I really did is line the splines up and just kept walking it forward a little bit at a time. But now we got this hole, and I know you don't want to stick fingers in, but there's that pin's got to go back in there top and bottom, and that's what we're up to next, and it's going to be time lapse again. So on this one, I thought I'd give you a little bit, but got my grease pin and that hole. Okay, so that took a little more wiggling than whatnot, but I actually had to we had to jack the tongue up a little bit. And yeah, you can see it's fun getting in here. But we got our little cross bolt in, and I'm just trying to get the nut on. And yeah, it's blind. There isn't a whole lot of room. And I just dropped my nut for the 4th time. Well, I'm going to struggle with this, so I'll bring you back, but you get the idea. There's the nut and bolt go crossways in the collar. I don't know if you can see them wrenches or not, but it's actually easier to go from the back side for that bolt than it is through the front. You're kind of at an arm's reach length, but there's more room in the back to swing than the front. So, but yeah, this is our adventure. And like I say, if there's an easier way, by all means, because this isn't a how-to, this is just how I'm getting there. Okay, that's that side done. Yeah. So now that we got it on, we can bite onto this a little better to actually, and it does spin, but it's a little more solid, and I'm gonna actually have to crack that pretty good, because that is slipping on the shaft. But it up to there. It's taking a little more, but you know, on a friction deal. So we're just putting our set screw in. I finally got that to tighten up, and it just took a few more wraps of the hammer and it finally went. But there you go, that's nice and snug. Get our collar back on. Remember your orientation on your PTO. And he's going to need a little convincing on, not crazy, but okay. So that will line, and that dog will just fit in there perfect now, or as perfect as they do. I do need to get a wrench to cinch him tight. Stop. And that's all it is. He doesn't have to be horsed, but tight and stubby wrench. I mean, it'll look tighter than what it is. Get our jam nut back on there. And that's that. You've almost got a PTO together. Now we can just wiggle this back just a little bit. There. Our shield goes back on. And got to remember the orientation on this, but this one here with the stud for our hoses goes on this side, I know. And that one's going to get a new bolt. So one thing I did notice, the shield is slotted, and this bearing holder, if you start the bottom too a little bit, you know, it'll come together. So, and yeah, our shield isn't perfectly square, but you should have seen it before we started. So there's our shield kind of on. And I'm going to just give it a little bit of enough. Okay, stop. Okay, so to line this up, we're going to make it a little easier on ourselves. We're going to take a tapered punch and line one side. And yeah, you can see how it flopped back. Well, it's going to flop forwards and backwards until it's all said and done, but you can kind of line up to get your bolt started. Well, I did manage to get that other one in, and yeah, same thing other side. And once you kind of get some of them, you know, straightened up a little bit, they'll all start going a little better. And I don't know if this is a factory deal here or not, but that bolt on top, it's kind of a welded on top a nut or a bolt, and it's a bolt welded on a bolt. I like the after effects, but boy, is it crooked. And I thought I'd show you this before we go backwards. So I'm actually on my jack now, tongues in. I can let this down. I've got the luxury of a electric hoist in here, but yeah, just picking up on that wind bar there is enough to balance it, and that's all you really need. My hoist is kind of slow, so it's going to be a second, but We'll get him up and out of the way, that way I can get the hoist out of the way. Because we're gonna have some fun putting that hydraulic cylinder on. Might actually well, what I should have done is kept this on there. Move my hoist. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. Let's go back down, hook up. We're gonna rehook and lift it back up. I'll bring it back, but I'm gonna move my hoist over a little bit, that way I can swing my tongue. So, to be continued. The second part coming. Yeah, hope you enjoyed so much, and hope you have a great day. We'll catch you next time.